My sister-in-law is pregnant. The night my whole family was celebrating, my brother's friend showed up with a pregnancy test and confronted him. My brother shed his usual cool demeanor. He tightly clung to his wife and whined, "Sweetheart, she's lying. I only ever loved you. She's just trying to scam us." I looked at the woman who ruined our family in the past, grinning widely. "We've been waiting for you." At the dinner table, my sister-in-law announced she was pregnant. My brother froze. My mom cried. My dad laughed. I sighed in relief. Finally, it's this day. In a previous life, that was when my brother's friend did the same thing, claiming he got her pregnant. My brother, who was an honest man, didn't know how to react, missing his chance to explain. My sister-in-law believed he betrayed her, and after a fierce argument, she was so upset she miscarried. Despite my parents' pleas, she divorced my brother in a hasty manner. After the divorce, my brother's mental state deteriorated, and pressured by various circumstances, he ended up marrying the friend. Soon after, the friend revealed her true nature. Not only was she not pregnant, but she also targeted our soon-to-be demolished family home. After receiving the compensation money, she ran off with all of it, and my parents tragically died in a car accident chasing after her. My brother went insane, and I ended up dying from cancer in an unnoticed snowy night. After cooling down, our family decided it was time to celebrate. Ever since realizing I'd been reborn, we've cautiously gone through life according to the previous timeline. Thankfully, our efforts were not in vain. We finally made it to today. My sister-in-law is the only one who hasn't been reborn, and she's the happiest one among us. The first day of the new life, my brother declared we'd treat her well and let no one hurt her. Mom and Dad nodded frantically. I just rolled my eyes. My brother went mad first and Mom and Dad died early. They never knew the truth. My sister-in-law turned out to be quite a big deal. When I came back, I found out my sister-in-law's dad was the wealthiest man in our city. She married my brother despite her parents' objections because she admired his honesty. In our past life after their divorce, she never remarried and took over her father's company, becoming the first female tycoon in our province. This time around, hearing my sister-in-law was expecting, Mom and Dad went straight to the market and bought all her favorite foods. My brother, worried I'd be upset, gave me $200 to grab some restaurant food for myself. I didn't take it. My brother's been giving his earnings to the family, and who knows how long it took him to save that secret stash. During dinner, I glanced at the clock on the wall. At just the right time, someone knocked on the door. My brother and I exchanged a knowing look. It was happening. Mom and Dad's hands were shaking. I glanced at them. Seriously? Haven't you been through enough to keep cool? Luckily, they quickly got it together, happily passing food to my sister-in-law again. I was assigned to open the door. As soon as I did, Lily barged in, heading straight for my brother. "Can you two-timer? Look what you've done." She slammed the test on the table. "I'm pregnant and it's yours." My sister-in-law instinctively looked at my brother. He quickly pulled her in, saying nervously, "Sweetheart, she's lying. I only have you. She's trying to scam me." My sister-in-law was stunned. After all, my brother never hugged her in public, more so in front of my parents. Before long, her face turned red. "Okay, let me go." "No way. You gotta know, when I went to the class reunion, I crashed at a buddy's place. I was out on the couch with him. Who'd have thought this one would sneak into my bed just to fake it? My buddy can vouch. I've got no interest in anyone but you." My sister-in-law looked like she wanted to hide under the table. "Please stop talking." Lily was speechless. She looked at my brother, shocked. "Ken, I was true to you. How can you be so heartless?" My brother gazed lovingly at my sister-in-law. "I've given my heart to her. Any other business? If not, don't ruin our celebration." Lily finally regained composure. "I'm carrying your child. With the connection between our families, shouldn't you do something about it?" My brother finally really looked at her, raising an eyebrow. "Got proof that's my kid?" "No one but you." My brother looked disgusted. "You can't find anyone else? Scamming even a married man? I know if I touched you or not." Lily left in tears. Mom and Dad laughed because the baby in her belly was safe. I gave my brother a thumbs up. 3 years ago, the day my brother got another chance was his wedding night with my sister-in-law. He cried to my parents, saying when Lily showed up in the last life, his head was spinning and he didn't argue back. That's how she got the upper hand. After the miscarriage, my sister-in-law never agreed to see us and blocked everyone. Before resolving the confusion, tragedy struck. After returning, my brother often said, "It took losing everything to see how much she means to me. If you didn't stop me, I'd have torched their house the day I came back." Good thing he was quick to make his move, keeping my sister-in-law away from Lily. Well played, bro, keeping Lily out of touch. Thanks to my brother's little show, my sister-in-law couldn't even look up the whole meal, retreating to her room right after dinner. Later that night, my brother sneaked into my room. I lost myself so long last life. Forgot what Lily's next move was. You remember? Last go-round, Lily tried to make my sister-in-law despair by getting footage from my brother's buddy's house and altering it. Seeing that doctored video, my sister-in-law misunderstood completely, cutting all ties in a fit of rage. I bet Lily's on her way to my brother's buddy's place, hoping to mess with the security footage. Too bad for her. Her little plan's already busted. I got to my brother's buddy a couple of days ago and got my hands on the footage. Deleted the records right then and there. My brother wasn't even drunk that night. He wrapped up like a mummy to make sure Lily didn't take any advantage. I told him to hold back and wait. Otherwise, who knows how things would have turned, and I wouldn't have been able to get back at Lily. Afterwards, I backed up the footage and handed it to my brother. He looked at me all grateful, saying, "I never spoiled you for nothing. Once I clear things up with your sister-in-law, I'll find you a good husband." I glanced at him. "With your judgment, figure out your wife first. You can't even handle your own wife. Where do you get the confidence to find me someone?" I knew Lily wouldn't give up that easily, but I didn't expect her to come on so strong. Next morning, I was still asleep when I was woken up by crying in the living room. Dragging my face down, I opened my door and saw Lily brought back up with her. I looked over at my brother's room. Doors half open, must have gone out. Looks like I'll have to handle today's scene. Good thing I warned Mom and Dad last night not to act rashly. We need evidence first, then Lily won't have an exit. Exposing her too soon would be too lenient for her. Lily cried for a good while not seeing my brother come out. She glanced toward his room. "Ken's not up yet?" He wasn't like this before. Ever since he got married, he doesn't like waking up early. The old folks were right. Marrying a not-so-wise woman ruins generations. I burst out laughing. My brother used to get up early, 'cause he didn't have a wife to keep the bed warm. Now, with a wife in bed, of course, he's reluctant to get up. Lily looked confused but quickly put on her pitiful act. From childhood to now, Ken's the only one I shared a bed with. That's the only time. How would I know what it's like having someone warm a bed? I nodded. Yeah, I was with my brother for less than a minute. Shouldn't know for real. Lily got mad. Who says just a minute? I was with him all night, all right? Even Lily's parents couldn't help but speak up. "Clara, I know my Lily. She wouldn't just accuse your brother. They've known each other for years. If it weren't for that drunken night, it'd never be my Lily needing your brother." Dad's cracking his knuckles. Mom's gritting her teeth. I signaled them to hold back. Holding back the urge to throw out the footage, I asked, "Since you're so desirable, why settle for my brother damaged goods? What's in it for you?" As I spoke, I looked Lily straight in the eye. As expected, saw a flicker of guilt, quickly gone. What else would I be after? The rice is cooked. Shouldn't he take responsibility? I kept staring at her without saying a word. Lily was getting uneasy with my stare. Mom spoke up. "We're reasonable folks. You claim you're carrying our grandson. Clara, go with her for a thorough check. If she's pregnant, we'll take responsibility." Lily's eyes lit up. "Sure, Clara, come with me. After we're done, make sure to tell them I'm pregnant." Does she really take me for the fool who called her sister all the time? Of all the dumb things I did under Lily's manipulations, believing her blindly tops the list. One vivid memory was she asked me to hit her after my brother's tutoring class. I did, but lightly. She wailed on the ground like I attacked her. My brother thought I really hurt her. Rushed her to the hospital. Whatever the doctor said, I don't know. He stopped letting me see her after that. But my brain wasn't working back then. She sweet-talked me back into dumb antics until my brother distanced from Lily and married my sister-in-law. Slowly I wised up. Only after everything fell apart, I followed Lily around and learned about her act. She's always looked down on my brother, called him dumb. Said if not for his looks, he wouldn't even qualify for backup. I agreed to the hospital check with Lily. During the check, she tried to get rid of me. I played along to the door but stayed nearby. She came out, smiling, handing me the pregnancy results. "See for yourself." I glanced at it. Apart from a slightly high HCG level, There's no evidence of pregnancy. I tucked it away, headed towards the ultrasound room. Lily stopped me. What are you doing over there? Going for an ultrasound. Lily glared. Isn't the check done? Come on, let's go home. You better go tell them I'm pregnant with your brother's child. She tried pulling me, I didn't budge. Instead, I pulled her toward the ultrasound. I asked the OB. Good to have another check. You're already around 12 weeks, right time for NT. I checked it all out. Let's do it. Lily shook off my hand sharply. Are you nuts, Clara? You possessed? You've never had a kid. Stop listening to nonsense. I stared at her, then suddenly looked behind her. Brother, how's sister-in-law's check? How many weeks? Lily was too shocked to react to my brother's sudden presence. Hearing my question, she screamed, she's pregnant? Ken, how can you let her get pregnant? My brother enveloped my sister-in-law, baffled. Why can't I let my own wife be pregnant? Lily pointed to her belly. But how can you get two women pregnant? Being peak checkup times, Lily's words drew eyes, making my brother look like a cheat. But he stayed cool. Kiss my sister-in-law softly, honey, no matter what you hear, stay calm. I'm yours inside and out. Don't believe these hussies. Sister-in-law nodded sweetly, need my help? These little things I can handle. Be good, wait aside. Lily's eyes seemed to burn with envy. Ken. My brother rolled up his sleeves slowly, showing off the muscles he worked on to impress my sister-in-law. I mean, I know I'm decent looking, but not like I'm gonna be mistaken for someone else's dad on the street. My wife is right here. Who's so messed up they'd try to break up a family like that? I glanced at my sister-in-law, and sure enough, she was blushing. My brother said, if you can prove the kid's mine, I'll let my wife kick me out. Lily couldn't even get a full sentence out after that. My sister-in-law couldn't take it any longer and playfully punched my brother. She's just a girl. Have some decency. How about this? When she's ready, I'll go with her to get an amnio. Before my brother could reply, Lily went nuts. No way. You're out to get me. I won't let you harm my kid. And then she ran off. I looked at my brother. Seriously, she couldn't handle that? But I wasn't sweating it. I knew Lily would be back. Our house was about to be torn down in less than a month. How did Lily know this? Her uncle worked in the relevant department and got the inside scoop. The demolition meant our family would score 3 downtown apartments plus extra compensation. One of those apartments later skyrocketed in value like off the charts. Last time around, Lily convinced my crazy brother to give one apartment to her uncle. She even kicked my parents out so hers could move in. Me? Thinking back on my past life, my fists clenched tightly. So, like any other day, I headed out and Lily cornered me in an alley. She seemed to forget our last spat and cozied up to me. I forced myself not to push her away. Clara, I know I shouldn't have tried to break your brother and sister-in-law up, but I really like your brother. Can you help me one more time, please? I glanced at the blood bag peeking out of her pocket. What do you need? Lily said, can you check if your brother has any feelings for me? If not, I'll get rid of the baby and won't bother him anymore. I nodded, okay. Lily was thrilled, handing me a stick she'd brought. Clara, don't hold back like last time. Make it look real. I hesitated, what if I hurt you? You won't. Just hit me where there's more flesh. Trust me, even if you mess up, I won't blame you. This was the opening I was waiting for. I kept up the act, I just can't do it. Maybe it's best if you turn around. Then I won't see your face and can do it. Lily was desperate, knowing my brother was nearby. Sure, I'll turn around. Just hurry up. I glanced around and sure enough, there was my brother at the street corner, with my sister-in-law. She was eyeing some street food and bubble tea. I watched her take one sip before my brother snagged and tossed it into the trash. She quickly finished a sausage, grinning at him, and he just pinched her cheek lovingly. Talk about adorable. Lily pestered, why haven't you started? On it. I looked back. My brother was now crossing the street. I took a deep breath and aimed for her pocket with the stick, the memories flooding in hard. Last time after my brother divorced my sister-in-law, our family tried to get her back but got shut out. My already unstable brother got worse with Lily's parents shouting everywhere that he'd gotten Lily pregnant. They made his condition even worse. While I was dealing with my sick folks at the hospital, they swiped our household registry and forced my brother into marriage. I handled my parents' funeral alone. Exhausted, I came home only to find Lily and some goons waiting. When I tried to bail, they caught me, forced something down my throat, and knocked me out cold. When I came to, I was in a damp, dark basement. Eventually they had me caged, hung, paraded around like an auction item. Gripping the stick, I hit Lily again and again, bringing all my strength to bear. Clara, stop. You can't keep doing this. My brother's voice snapped me back. I looked at Lily, who was curled up on the ground, grimacing with one pant leg bloody. I quickly calmed, playing the panicked card as I tossed the stick aside and hugged Lily tight.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I said I wouldn't hit too hard. Look, I broke the blood bag. Lily gasped. What blood bag? Weren't you trying to force a miscarriage? Bystanders criticized me, calling me heartless, but I pulled the bag from her pocket and said, You think I'm lying? Let's get an injury report at the hospital. Having lived my past life in darkness, I knew perfectly well where to hit to hurt but not bruise. Both my brother and sister-in-law agreed. Off we went to the hospital for a checkup. Lily just wanted to make a show for my brother, aiming for him to think I caused her miscarriage by hitting her. But she didn't anticipate me being a wild card. When she refused to go to the hospital and insisted I take her home to recover, a bystander couldn't stand by and called an ambulance, sending her to the hospital to teach us a lesson. At the hospital, Lily had a rough time, demanding multiple checkups from the doctor. She was adamant she was pregnant and accused me of causing her miscarriage. She kicked up such a fuss that it was embarrassing. The young doctor with a stern face said, Are you questioning our hospital's expertise? You're not pregnant, and there's no sign of physical injury. Another hospital would tell you the same thing. Lily glared at me, insisting I hit her in public, which many saw. With teary eyes, I pulled out my phone and played a recording. But you insisted I hit you, I said. The room fell silent when the recording played. Lily looked at me like she wanted to tear me apart. When Lily tried to get to me, my brother quickly pulled me out of the room alongside a young doctor who followed us out. Stopping in front of me, the doctor said, You don't look well. You should get a full checkup. I was caught off guard but then recognized him. Back when my brother was hospitalized in a past life, I met him often. The first words he said then are exactly what he says now. Who would have thought we'd meet again in this life? I thanked him before going home with my brother and his wife. My sister-in-law tried bringing up the situation a few times, only for my brother to change the subject. Later, she quietly approached me. Clara, your brother started this mess. Don't bear it alone. If you need help, tell me. Maybe I can do something. I smiled. Sis, I actually need your help. Her eyes lit up. Go ahead. The next day, Lily's family came knocking, their eyes on our relocation money and house. My parents had enough and stood their ground, voicing all their pent-up frustrations from the past 5 years since our rebirth. Lily's family left in disgrace. It amazed me how my parents held back until now. Passing their room at night, I often heard them curse and dwell on past life mistakes, lamenting they couldn't see through Lily's schemes sooner. My dad even sleepwalked into the kitchen for a knife once, though the noise woke my mom, preventing disaster. Revenge shouldn't involve losing ourselves. I tried different ways to counsel my dad, stressing revenge takes time and there's no need to let them off easy. Attack the heart, I told him. We own a small factory doing well currently. My brother, when not waiting for the right moment, spends time in the factory with his wife. Last life, Lily's drama bankrupt the factory just as it was improving under my brother. On being reborn, our parents let him reform it, and in 2 years he turned it around beyond its past success. We may look poor on the surface, but really our family's doing okay. After venting, my parents felt rejuvenated and went food shopping hand in hand. My brother and sister-in-law returned, puzzled by the fancy dinner, asking, Are we having guests? Nope, I replied. Parents are just happy, made all our favorite dishes. Wash up so we can eat. But of course we couldn't eat in peace. Right after we sat down, Lily barged in again, not with her parents this time, but with journalists and influencers. They forced their way into our home, filming everything. My brother acted fast, ushering his wife into their room and locking the door before facing Lily, smashing her phone. Had enough games, huh? Let's resolve this for good, right here, right now. I had never seen my brother look that menacing. I instinctively pulled my parents aside. Lily lamented, Why won't you see me for who I am? What does she have that I don't? The truth was, my sister-in-law's household registration was still rural, hiding another layer of secrets no one knew. My brother mocked, Checked a mirror lately? You can't compete with my wife. That bumpkin didn't even do high school or college here. I have an urban registration, she used you for it. I was shocked. Lily's entitlement had no bounds, it seemed. Before I could speak, my brother sneered. You mean your 30 square foot rented place? Lily, if your dad didn't work for our factory, where'd you get your collective registration? Where's this superiority from? Lily paled, outmatched in argument. She focused on swaying the influencers. This factory boss is bullying, shielding culprits, altering my medical records. I'm telling you, I will have justice in court if you don't compensate me today. Undaunted, my brother challenged. Go ahead with proof. You fail, and I'll ensure consequences for wasting time. Cornered, Lily shifted her target back to me. Clara. I shivered, playing the recording where Lily expressly asked me to hit her. Curious influencers saw a twist and their interest renewed. With effort, I squeezed out some tears. Why'd you frame me? You asked for it, then turned on me. Without the recording, I'd be jailed now. Lily, I thought we were friends. Why'd you betray me? Lily was stunned. I kept on with the act. I heard your brother got himself a girlfriend and is gonna get married. You wouldn't be trying to mess with me for some cash for his dowry, would ya? In my past life, I escaped a human trafficker's den and came back here. Right around the time her brother was getting married. That wedding was a whole spectacle. Like they were trying to rival some billionaire's nuptials. That's when I realized Lily's family's endgame, my family's house and money. Lily probably didn't think I'd figure it out this far, and she finally panicked. What nonsense are you spouting? My brother getting married has nothing to do with me. My family isn't poor and he's a top student. I chuckled. A top student who got booted from middle school? If Lily's brother was a tad more diligent, their family wouldn't have hit rock bottom. But he's just a lazy slob working at a cybercafe, always begging the folks for cash. Things were spinning out of control, so Lily took the influencer away. She didn't know the reporters who came with her stayed back and interviewed me. The reporters, famous TV journalists, were actually contacted by my sister-in-law. Had Lily paid a little attention, she could have avoided this setup. Then again, maybe she noticed and thought they were on her side? Early next morning, Lily was banging on our door like mad. I'd been sitting by the bed in my pajamas all night waiting for her. She sure took her sweet time. I leisurely went to open the door, leaving just a sliver open. What do you want? With red eyes and a twisted face, Lily hissed, Clara, I'm going to kill you. Who let you release those videos and recordings? Who? I leaned into the door, rubbing my ears. You're so loud. Like a madwoman, Lily pushed at the door. Let me in, open the door. The burglar chain held the door shut, and Lily couldn't budge it despite several tries. She tried reaching in to unlatch it, but I leaned softly against the door, and she shrieked painfully. I watched her skin go pale from being squeezed, thinking about the fingers I'd lost in the past. Compared to my pain, what was this to her? When my brother's door opened and my sister-in-law appeared, I finally relaxed. Lily left wailing and cursing. Yawning, I decided to get some sleep. Lily had planned to use the influencer to slander us online. I countered by giving our side to reputable TV journalists with evidence of her false claims. In just one night, the online narrative did a complete 180. Suddenly, the internet was full of sympathy for us. My brother and sister-in-law, instead of drifting apart due to Lily's antics, grew even closer. My sister-in-law wanted to help with the family issues, and after I asked, she went straight to the TV guys. Later on, my brother suspiciously asked how I reached out to TV networks. I just gave him a sly smile. Come on bro, I've lived 2 lifetimes. Can't handle this little task? He didn't press me for more. The day we got the demolition notice, our whole street was buzzing with excitement. But that night, the $20,000 my mom had withdrawn disappeared without a trace. Mom had planned to use it as a bonus for the workers. We quickly called the police, and solving the case came easily. Security footage from a nearby car caught the thieves in the act. Lily and her brother. Caught red-handed, they soon confessed to taking the cash. But we were missing not just $20,000, but also $30,000 from a deal with my dad. The cops raided Lily's house that very night and lo and behold, found the $30,000. Word is, when the police arrived, Lily's parents were counting the money. Another busted moment. When they cuffed Lily's parents, they tried to grab the cash, claiming it was theirs. Lily's family ended up being charged with burglary. She got 8 years and the rest got 3. Later, I visited Lily in prison. She put on some weight and was glaring daggers at me. Did you frame me, Clara? Was it you? I sidestepped. Looks like life in here ain't too bad. Maybe next time I visit, you'll be a bit rougher. Lily looked like she wanted to strangle me. Clara, even as a ghost, I'll haunt you. Well, save it for when you're a ghost then. The day my sister-in-law was due, we were all outside the delivery room. My brother was a nervous wreck, trembling and pacing so much we got dizzy just watching him. The delivery was smooth, and my sister-in-law had a baby girl. When the nurse tried to hand the baby over, he was already peeking through the door. My parents couldn't help but laugh, and they took the baby for tests while I stayed with my brother. The moment my sister-in-law came out, my 6'2" brother bawled while hugging her. Even the nurses couldn't pull him away. I shouted, "Watch out, you're on your wife's incision." At my words, he instantly jumped back, and she chuckled at him. Outside the hospital room, I overheard him gently saying to her, "Let's not have more kids." "No more." She replied, "Your business is booming. We can afford a bunch." But he shook his head, "All my cash should go to you. That's why I make it, what else?" I silently pulled my hand back from the door and walked away. He still didn't know my sister-in-law wasn't strapped for cash, and unless she brought it up, it'd be my secret forever. My parents treated her like their own daughter, so the in-law drama was a non-issue. With the revenge complete and life back to normal, I didn't have any regrets left. While lost in thought, a figure blocked my way. It was the young doc again. He frowned. "Did you get that checkup?" I nodded randomly. "Show me the report," he insisted, ignoring my jest about him being an OBGYN. I never got checked, so how could I produce a report? So I decided to take a detour. Out of nowhere, I heard his confident voice behind me. "Cancer in its early stages can be cured with a good prognosis. I suggest you get admitted for treatment now." I frowned, not pleased, and was about to say something when I heard my brother calling me from behind. "Clara." Oh no. When my parents and brother's family found out I was sick, they were surprisingly calm. They all took on different roles, organizing everything clear as day for me. Dad and my brother practically dragged me through checkups, and the more tests I had, the more nervous I got. "Bro, your wife just had a baby. Go be with her." My brother, with a stern face, replied, "She was the one who wanted me here. If I hadn't stopped her, she'd be here with you right now." I looked at my dad. "Dad, isn't mom making soup at home? Maybe you should go check?" My dad looked even more serious than my brother. "The soup's been cooking since last night. It's about time your sister-in-law had some." I put on a gloomy face. "With your expressions, you're making it seem like I actually have cancer." My brother and dad gave me a cold stare. The results came back. Early-stage kidney cancer. Thankfully, it hadn't spread. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief and quickly arranged for me to start hospital treatment. Young Dr. Nolan somehow ended up as my primary doctor, and day after day he worked diligently. My parents started looking at him as though he were family. I couldn't take it. As soon as I could, I cut ties with him after being discharged. 6 months later, I lay in bed debating whether to get up, when my dad walked in with someone smiling. I took one look and went numb. Ignoring how I felt, my dad brought the person to my room, kindly saying, "Clara, Nolan came specifically to see you. Get up and entertain him." He even closed the door behind him. After wrestling with myself for a bit, I finally sat up and tidied my hair. With all that hospital time, he'd seen every ugly side of me. Nolan smiled and tousled my freshly combed hair. "How are you feeling?" "All right, but I've gained some weight from lying around too much." He chuckled. "Wanna go somewhere?" "No way. After everything with Lily's family, anything beyond this bed feels like a journey to the ends of the earth." Nolan said, "Come on, you'll like it." I looked at him steadily. "Nolan, I've always wondered, how did you know I had cancer?" "Oh, maybe in a past life." Chills ran down my spine. I looked at him warily. But he smiled gently, "Or maybe in a dream, though it wasn't a good one." In the end, I went out with Nolan that day. He took me to the hospital's back hill, where there was a big tree with a familiar wishing rope. I stared silently at the wishing rope. During that time, my brother acted erratically and didn't cooperate with treatment. My parents were devastated after my sister-in-law passed and didn't have the energy to take care of my brother, so all the responsibility fell on me. Every time my brother had treatment, I'd get emotionally drained. When I couldn't take it, I'd run here, clutching at straws, treating this tree like a lifeline, whispering wishes to it. And this wishing rope in front of me looked exactly like the one I'd seen in my past life. Suddenly it all made sense. "Nolan, did you take notice of me in our past life? I stood by my office window every day, watching you wish so sincerely. I thought, this has to be such a kind and strong girl. As I got to know you, I couldn't help but care. But then, the last time you returned your brother to the hospital, I never saw you again. Through Nolan, I learned what happened to my brother afterward. He said my brother was treated for a year before suddenly disappearing one day. He told me the day my brother vanished was the same day I was beaten nearly to death by traffickers and left in the wilderness. Maybe it was the desire for revenge that kept me alive. I begged my way back here, but unfortunately my body couldn't hold on long enough for me to get revenge. Luckily, fate gave us another chance, allowing our family to live happily together again. Nolan confessed to me and I didn't accept. The past life had a huge impact on me, and it made me a bit extreme. I'm like a ticking time bomb, ready to blow at any moment. How could I drag Nolan with such a promising future into my mess? But Nolan didn't give up. He started showing up at my house even more. I had no clue what my parents were thinking. They kept scolding me for not appreciating him. Ugh, I so wanted to run away from home. So I did. For 2 days, my parents and brother's family didn't even try to find me. When Nolan found me at the hotel, I was just about to pack up and head home. No place is as comfortable as your own, even if it's a humble one. On the way back, Nolan confessed again. He said, "I dreamed of you last night." I responded, my mind wandering to what delicious food I could ask Mom to make. "Clara, is it because of those awful experiences you won't accept me?" I froze. "What?" He sighed softly, hugging me gently. "You're usually so sharp. How can you be so lost about this? Clara, you're amazing. It's them that are wrong, not you. Don't punish yourself for their mistakes." I stayed still in his arms for a while before whispering, "Damaged is damaged. I can't accept you. But will you let me help you through this?" I shook my head. "You've got a bright future. Don't waste it on me, it's not worth it." "But Clara, I spent 50 years in another life praying for this second chance. Aren't you willing to give it a shot with me?" "What are you implying?" I stiffened all over. Was he saying, we were reborn because of him? But we barely crossed paths in our past life. Why would he go that far? Before I could reject, Nolan said, "You might not recall much about me from the past life, but I remember you well. Clara, give me a chance. Just 1 year. If by then you still can't accept me, then He paused deliberately before adding, "I've been trying for a lifetime. What's another shot in the next one?" The end. Nolan. Mom called again, bugging me to get married. After a grueling 10-hour surgery, I was completely wiped. I rubbed my temples and didn't want to deal with her right then, so I made up some excuse to brush her off. I glanced up and saw the girl standing on the hill outside my window again. She's there almost every day around this time, lost in thought while looking at that big tree. But today was different. She had a red string in her hand. I watched as she stood for a bit, then tiptoed to tie the red string to a branch and clasped her hands together. I've been working at this hospital for 6 years and never seen anyone make wishes this way before. A few days after she came back. Every day she brought a red string, and that branch got fuller and fuller with them, looking a bit odd compared to the bare branches around it. One day while making my rounds, I saw her again. She was by a hospital bed, looking at a man who wouldn't cooperate with his treatment, her expression bleak. Still, she didn't get mad or blame him. She just squatted down, picking up everything he had thrown on the floor. "See, you need me to pick up after you. What would you do if I wasn't around?" she said. I paused, remembering the first time we crossed paths. She looked sickly thin and pale, like something was seriously wrong with her health. She seemed surprised when I suggested she get checked out. After a moment's silence, she just said thanks and left. I guess by now she knows what's wrong with her. Someone urged me to move on, but I took one last look at her. She had tidied everything up and was softly urging her brother to cooperate with his treatment. My coworker told me how unlucky those siblings were. Their home got demolished and shady folks came around. The sister-in-law took off, and their parents got so stressed they ended up hospitalized. No one was left to care for her brother with mental health issues. I couldn't help but feel sorry for them. But hospitals are like that, they show you all sorts of life stories. I heard her brother got discharged eventually, and I also learned her name was Clara. On my way home from work one day, I saw a vendor selling those red strings and bought one without even thinking about it. Once I came to my senses, I realized how much more attention I was giving Clara than other patients' families. It left me speechless for a moment. But by this age, there's no need to hide your feelings. Every day before work, I went to that tree and tied a red string. I saw Clara again. She looked worse than last time. When I was about to say hi, I noticed she wore a white flower on her head. I froze. After some digging, I found out both her parents had passed away, and her brother's condition worsened. Doctors and nurses were trying to sedate him, and Clara just stood there, looking at him with eyes that seemed void of life. I'd never seen such a desperate yet calm gaze. It filled me with a huge sense of fear, so I kept looking for her after work ended. One day, I went to see her in the hospital, only to find her brother in a frenzy, everything in chaos. But Clara was nowhere to be found. Panicked, I asked around until someone told me she was on the rooftop. I rushed to the rooftop and saw her at the edge, moving forward. Without thinking, I ran over and held her. When I touched her, I realized she was even thinner than I imagined under her clothes. She pushed me away, calmly saying I wasn't gonna jump, just needed some air. Relieved, I stayed and said I needed some air too. Clara looked at me but didn't say anything. In the days that followed, we met on the rooftop. She seemed to get used to having me around. I thought once she got used to me, I'd tell her how I felt, and if that didn't work, we could at least be friends. But life had other plans. After that day on the rooftop, I never saw Clara again. Her brother stayed in the hospital until the advance payments ran out, but she never came. I tried her phone, but it was disconnected. No way to reach her. I ended up paying for her brother's last treatment, thinking she could spend the rest of her life paying me back. But a year passed and she never returned. One day, a coworker frantically told me Clara's brother was missing. We called the cops and I joined the search. I'll never forget that winter with snow falling all around. I followed the path to Clara's house, and passing an alley, I heard faint voices. I went in and found them, buried in a pile of discarded paper. At that moment, my heart shook to its core. Two people sat there in the corner. One was Ken. The other, I wouldn't have recognized if I hadn't looked closely. She wore a hospital gown, its oversized fabric cloaking her. Yet the parts of her body that were visible were heartbreaking. Even for someone like me who knows the human body well, I couldn't comprehend the suffering she went through to end up like that. She quietly leaned against Ken, eyes shut, her face devoid of color. If I had to guess, she was already gone. Ken held her tightly, wearing only a thin shirt. He was frozen, lips blue, but stubbornly kept Clara in his arms. He had been able to speak just before, but now he was silent too. Overwhelmed with sorrow, I sat in front of them and cried quietly. After sorting out the siblings' affairs, I started praying at the temple twice a week, never missing a day. A year later, the head monk gave me a bracelet, saying that with 5 years of vegetarianism and prayer, they could be reincarnated. Though a firm believer in materialism, I abandoned my beliefs, trusting the monk completely. I asked him, if I go vegetarian and chant Buddhist scriptures for 50 years, could her whole family get a second chance? I admit I got greedy. I was scared I wouldn't find her in the next life, so I wanted a redo. The master said, if your heart is sincere, then it's possible. How will you know if you don't try? So, for the next 50 years, I lived as a vegetarian and devoted myself to chanting. I never got married and dedicated my life to my career. 50 years later, I lay on a hospital bed, still holding the bracelet the master gave me. When I opened my eyes, I was back more than 50 years ago, before any of this happened. Lord knows I yearned to see the vibrant her, but I held back. Before long, I saw her again at the hospital. How wonderful, she looked so happy. It seemed like none of the stressful things from the last life had happened. She was waiting outside the operating room on the day her sister-in-law gave birth. From a distance, I watched her for a long time. Eventually, I couldn't help but worry about her. I went up to talk to her. From the shock in her eyes, I could tell she remembered me. But she didn't intend to talk to me, so when her brother came out, I called out from behind her, early-stage cancer can be treated with good prognosis. I suggest you get admitted now. Yes, last lifetime I checked her medical records, it was kidney cancer. She had a chance to get better, but various things delayed her treatment. I took a gamble. Her parents and brother took her for treatment, and I became her attending physician. I found opportunities to get close to her family. After some time, her parents grew more and more satisfied with me. But she resisted me. I didn't see that coming. I had looked into her past life and found out she was kidnapped. The day Ken went missing, she escaped from the traffickers. To be precise, she crawled out from a pile of dead bodies. I thought her rejection might have to do with that traumatic time, so I patiently tried to get close to her. But I moved too quickly and scared her. She said she felt tainted and couldn't accept me. How could she think like that? In my heart, she's more noble and pure than anyone else. The ones in the wrong were those people, never her. She didn't accept my confession, but she agreed to let me pursue her for a year. I secretly rejoiced. Luckily, I had prepared and taken a psychology course, so a year later she became my girlfriend. 2 years later we got married. 3 years later we had a lovely daughter. During this time a little thing happened. Clara's sister-in-law's secret came out. The day her sister-in-law gave birth to a second child, a well-off middle-aged couple showed up. The woman hugged Clara's sister-in-law and cried heartily, scolding and nurturing her at the same time. Later we learned Clara's sister-in-law had fallen out with her family to marry Ken, and they hadn't been in touch for years. Now her parents couldn't stand it any longer and came looking for her. It turned out Clara's sister-in-law was the daughter of the city's richest man. Clara said, "Girls risking everything for love isn't really wise. My sister-in-law didn't win the bet last life. Luckily she made up for it this time." I rested my chin on her shoulder. "I'd actually hope you'd be a little less rational so I wouldn't have had to wait so long." She glared at me, amused yet annoyed. I hugged her and chuckled softly, "Clara, whether in our past life or this one, if you choose me, I'll never let you lose." The end.